Indo-Pacific next, where China's Foreign Minister Wang Yi has expressed strong support for Iran's right to protect its sovereignty and dignity. Meeting with Tianjin with Iranian Foreign Minister Seyed Abbas Araghchi, Wang spoke about bullying and power politics. Wang emphasized the close partnership between China and Iran, highlighting their efforts to build trust and work together for long-term cooperation. Araghchi thanked China for its important support and praised China's leadership role in the Shanghai Cooperation Organization. They also addressed the sensitive issue of Iran's nuclear program. Araghchi made it clear that Iran does not want nuclear weapons, but insists on its right to use nuclear energy peacefully. He said Iran is ready to restart talks with all parties as long as there is fairness and respect. Wang welcomed Iran's peaceful stance and stressed that China opposes the use or threat of force. He said China is committed to helping create dialogue and promote peace and stability in the Middle East. We're now joined by Professor Madhav Nalaput, who's the editor of the Sunday Guardian. He joins us live from New Delhi. Professor Nalaput, thank you very much for joining us. What are your thoughts about these talks between Tehran and Beijing, their foreign ministers? How do you see this relationship?
Look, I'd like to say very clearly that so far as China is concerned, it is friendly with all countries that are hostile to the United States, whether it's Venezuela, whether it's Iran, whether it is any other country. Frankly, Pakistan is objectively hostile to the United States, but I think there are people in the United States who continue to be bamboozled into believing that Pakistan is other than what it is, which is a Chinese satellite. So far as Iran is concerned, China would like to support Iran, there's no question about it. But if I may ask, I mean, I don't see why someone should not question the Chinese on this point, that the ruling party in Iran, essentially the Khamenei, the supreme leader, and the IRGC, the civilian government, is very weak, as is the case in Pakistan. But the reality is, they do not accept the right of Jewish people to exist. They do not accept the right of Israel as a state and the Jewish people as a faith to exist. So in that situation, I mean, what is China doing supporting a side that does not recognize the right of the Jewish people to their own lives, to their very lives, and to the recognition of the state of Israel, who are opposed to that, a state which is recognized by the United Nations, which is the only Jewish state, a Jewish country in the world. And I think the Jews have earned the right to have their country, judging by the terrible price they have paid in the Holocaust in the previous century, and judging by the horror that was inflicted on them on the October 7th Hamas attack. So please, please, Mr. Wang Yi, please make your position clear on that. What do you think about the insistence by your good friends that Israel does not have the right to exist as a state, and the Jewish people do not have the right to exist as a people? What do you have to say about that?
Professor Nalaput, Iran is actually home to the second largest Jewish population in the Middle East. It was in 2021, 8,500 Jews still do live in Iran. Yes, Iran has said, Iran calls Israel occupied Palestine. However, those statements, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, 8,000 people is what a large apartment block would have. If anyone thinks that's a large number of people compared to a thriving Jewish community that was there before the clerics took over, well, then that individual is welcome to believe so. But it's frankly, it would fill only a single large multi-story apartment block, and not a very, very large, very multi-story apartment block either. It's a very tiny number, and they're there on sufferance, and they know it, and they have to keep repeating praises of the clerics, the very clerics who they know oppose their faith and oppose the state of Israel, to which they have a right to return. If the Iranians are so generous, why not allow these 8,000 and odd Jews to emigrate to Israel, where they'll be welcomed with open arms? I mean, that's the obvious question that I think people need to ask.
Yes, Professor
Thank you.
Nalapat, thank you very much for joining us. China is pushing back against